I think you actually, I don't know if you remember, you teared up when you saw me in the suit for the first time.
I did.
Yeah. I came out in the suit, and he was like, "You're the Flash, man. That's the Flash."
I did. I was like, I was 46 when I shot that episode. So it would be ridiculous to say, and gross to say as a 46-year-old man that, like, I got hard seeing him in that outfit.
You did say that. You did, though.
I didn't because I got wet is what happened. I was instantly moist all over.
I wasn't going to divulge that part.
I remember saying to you, I was just like, hey, man, this is amazing. This looks cool. Why don't they do this in real life? Give people uniforms to fight crime. And Grant goes, they do. They're called police. Talk about the outfit, because those of us who see you on set know that the outfit is a bit of a struggle to some degree.
Yes.
You make it work very fluently and fluidly on screen, but it's a deal. It
like
takes
the whole,
a team.
Somebody was just asking me today about the cowl, and I think most everyone could assume this, but the cowl and the down cowl are obviously two completely separate, different costume pieces.
I didn't know that until I got to set,
So we're like shooting, and I've got my cowl on, and someone will be like, freeze! And everyone will freeze, and then someone will come on and Velcro off my lightning bolt, thing off, put the other one on, zip it back up. Okay, action! And then we keep going. And you have to act like that didn't just happen. Like,
that happens a lot on the Flash set. There's a lot of, all right, everybody freeze.
Yeah, freeze!
And when you watch, like, when kids are playing freeze tag, it makes sense. But when you watch a bunch of adults suddenly freeze, and it goes on for like 20 seconds, it just feels eerie. You know, it's very strange. But that's how they do, like, the Zoop as well. Yeah, that was one of my favorite things to learn about. The Fathom as well. So whenever Flash comes into and out of a scene, Fathom, the papers blow and everyone's hair goes blowing, which I love because he hangs out with the most brilliant people on earth, and nobody could figure out to buy a fucking paperweight. So,
and like, why? What are the papers even?
We're in a digital world. There are no papers left.
We're never writing on paper in Star Labs. Yeah, there's always paper in Star Labs.
They keep them there just to show off how fast you are.
Barry does. He comes in every night and he's like, let's get that paper preset.
He's like, they're going to see how fast I am tomorrow.
Nothing? All right.
But show him the Zoop, the Fathom. In order to do it, like I was talking to Bob, was the AD, Bob Crippen, and he went over to Supergirl.
Love Bob.
He's over there now. Love Bob, the wonderful AD. Bob runs the set and stuff. So as a first-time fan, I was like, I can't wait. I said, in the script here it says Flash zoops in. What's that? And he goes, Zoop. That's when he comes in real fast. I guess comics guys call it Fathom. I said, yeah, Zoop. Why does it say Zoop? I've never seen that. I've been reading comics my whole life. And he goes, well, Zoop came from the guy that directed the pilot. He wasn't a big comic book guy. So one day he came in and he goes, what a fast guy. He's going to zoop over here. It'll zoop over there, and it'll zoop out of the room. And the writers were like, Z-O-O-P. And so it changed it forever. So I was like, I want to see the Zoop. I love that. It's my favorite part when he fucking takes off and shit like that. And Bob was like, oh, yeah, that's right. You don't know how we do the Zoop, do you? I said, no. And he goes, boy, you're in for a fucking disappointment.
That's what I say about everything. Like, our show is like the most awkward dailies in the business. Like,
it's a lot of air cannon work. Like whenever he leaves the room, they have this. There's a person who has like what looks like a flamethrower on their back, and they're aiming it at everyone else who's in the scene.
Just smile, just ready, like, just wait. Because the girls hate it, obviously. It's just
because bam, the fucking just. Face, neck, and chest. Bam, you know.
Oh, I'm sorry, that wasn't a good. We got to do it one more time. Yeah, I'm sorry. Hair, thank you. Yep, I think it's set. Yep, all the time.
It does as soon as they go. All right, everybody freeze. Everybody freezes, and they're like, all right, Grant, get out of there. And Grant walks out, and they're like, okay, action. And then they jack him in the face with like 10,000 pounds of air pressure.
Sometimes they roll that cannon out where it's like, oh my god. It's like,
normally it's a little thing, but sometimes they bring out a gigantic device, and you just get the impression that like production is like, let's just see what their faces will do.
Yeah.
So anyway, the suit is two different like things. If he wants to take the cowl down, they have to stop, and he has to put a separate cowl on. But this is now what, the second or third incarnation of the suit that you're wearing?
Well, one doesn't count because in the pilot, it was a one piece and it was heavier leather. So then, and starting in the second episode, I didn't have a new suit. Barry didn't have a new suit, but Grant did. Like it was, they made it into a pants jacket situation, a
separate piece,
lighter leather.
So the first one was a onesie, a giant onesie,
and like couch leather, like so heavy. Like it was March when we shot the pilot, thankfully. And when we came back for episode 2, it was the heat of summer, And it was like glued to my face still. You never directed me when it was glued to my face.
They have to glue Cal?
Yeah, the production was like, it's the only way. So I had this Cal zipped and like glued to my face for 12 hours at a time, ate lunch in it. And then like episode 9, they were like, so we think we figured something else out. And never had a glue.
And the fix probably was like, a hoodie?
Yeah, it was basically just zip tighter, and that was it. But yeah, I think other than that, I've had the first thing we changed was the white emblem. So it was still the new suit, or same suit, new emblem. And then, yeah, it was going into season 4 was when we had that whole new shtick. Love you.
He heard you.
They're in the second row.
That show, one of my favorite things about it, of course, is the heart. The show always manages to make me tear up, if not flat out cry. When you guys are working on it, do you know, like, are there scenes where you're like, oh, this is really going to wring the heartstrings?
Yeah, sometimes. Like, sometimes you're surprised, like, with the finished product or on set. You're like, oh, I didn't realize this scene was going to be like this. Usually with Candace and I, because, you know, you read the scenes and you think they are what they are because you do them all the time, and then you go on set and you start to do it, and it's something more than you realize what it was. But yeah, I mean, sometimes you're reading it and you're just like bawling your eyes out, like hysterical, and you know how good the scene is.
The when you guys do those scenes, they're very in the 3 episodes that I've worked on. There's always at least one, you know, West Allen pep talk scene.
Yeah.
So I would imagine like doing it 23 times.
A little repetitive, yeah.
Yeah, you're like, well, how do we re-express it this time? But it speaks volumes about you guys as performers that each time you're able to do it. Like, even as a viewer, I'm like, okay, here comes the moment where Iris is going to perk him up. You still find a way to make it fresh where I'm like, I love these too. Like, it still works. In terms of working with the cast, I'm certainly not saying single out your favorite, but who's fun to be around? Tell them who the fun cats. I mean, they all are. But.
Yeah, I mean, you know the dynamic, obviously. I personally, I mean, first of all, I love Jesse just because he was like the first guy I bonded with on the show, and I was just like a huge Rent fan, so it was like surreal to me that I was going to be working with him. But as far as just like goofing around and having fun, I mean, definitely Kavanaugh is the best.
Tom is such a fun and funny guy. He's the dude that keeps like energy up at all times.
He doesn't have an off switch. I mean, sometimes though it's like, dude, this is a serious scene. Like, will you stop? But he's amazing. I mean, he's like the class clown and the spirit of the show for sure. I mean,
what is the project that you guys worked on together? The comedy thing.
It was called Tom and Grant. It was like honestly born out of bits that we would do on set that are not funny, but they're just like repetition of us. Like, the bit is the fact that we like don't let things go. We just kind of do things again and again and again, and that's kind of who these guys are in this short that he wrote. And yeah, I mean, a couple of the bits that are in the movie are things that that were born on set from us just like dicking around. And it's Tom and Grant. We're never referred to each other by name, so we always said he was actually playing Grant and I was actually playing Tom. But yeah, it's just like these 2 idiot bank robbers sitting in a car that have a very half-baked plan waiting to rob this bank, basically.
And you shoot it between?
No, that was crazy. I was like leaving to do a movie at the time. It was as we wrapped up season 3. I was supposed to go right into a movie. Tom wanted to squeeze this short in, so we wrapped Flash. Very next day, we did 2 days of Tom and Grant, and then the movie I was supposed to go do fell through anyway, so I just went home and chilled after that.
Let's talk about Barry Allen being his own worst enemy. It seems like most of the problems that Barry has to face, he creates in one way or another by going back in time and fucking with shit. Do you, whenever you get a script, you're like, come on, man, don't make me go back in time again? Or is it still fun to do?
Time travel was always, a fun thing to do. We didn't really do it last year, I think very intentionally. But no, the time travel stuff's fun. It got confusing for sure, the Savitar. So we were like, people ask me questions about Savitar, and I'm like, I don't know. But no, I like that stuff. Yeah, I like the time travel stuff.
Who has been over 4 seasons? You're heading into 5. Who's been the favorite villain for you?
Man, I mean, he's not a villain anymore, but who just popped into my head was Wentworth, Captain Cold. But he's like a friend of me.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was just thinking of today because I had a feeling like who's your favorite rogue was going to be a thing, and I was just like racking my brain, and I hadn't thought in a while. Like love Weather Wizard, Liam McIntyre is Weather Wizard, so he'd be fun to have back. We haven't had him enough, and then Mark Hamill is the trickster. Yeah.
Wasn't Weather Wizard the episode where like he built up the seawall and Iris is like, you got to run down the shore but real fast backward? No,
yeah.
It was Danielle was like, you got to run back and forth real fast, and that was where like Iris saw you were the Flash the first time, and then you kissed.
Yeah.
And then
accidentally time travel for the first time.
Yeah. Oh, I fucking love that. I remember watching it and being like,
that's
no.
That's one of my favorite episodes. Now that I'm thinking about it. Yeah.
It's pretty.
That's the one with Cisco too.
Yes. I mean,
we've all
seen
it,
Cisco,
but
that's for sure.
But like where he like through the chest.
That's the first. Yes.
Yeah.
We can talk spoilers.
I don't
They've
know.
all
Some of these people, you don't know. I don't. Half of season 1 or something. I don't.
I love all the seasons, but season 1 to me was like a real discovery because I didn't realize, like, I was familiar with and liked Smallville, but like it was everything went up a level with Flash, where suddenly it was like they were treating it seriously. Somebody once described it as like it's like Dawson's Creek, but everyone's wearing capes and stuff. Like, and that made sense to me. I'm like, oh yeah, there's an emotional core of this show that even though they're superhumans, it's the human story that we're all attracted to. But what like keeps us coming back is like, oh, there's some spectacle going to happen, some big stuff going to happen. Talk about the special effects aspects of it, because we've seen an evolution of the run.
Yes.
And now it's become something like in the beginning, you were on machines or what?
I was on a treadmill. I was on like a treadmill they had taken all the sidings off of and painted green, and then they put a harness on me that was like up to the rafters of the studio. But they would never my legs were always out of frame. So we eventually were like, this is what I do now.
The job doesn't even require you to move your legs, really?
No, yeah. Pretty much when I'm Barry, I'm like, can we frame out my legs? I sit down and they frame me out. No, I don't run ever though. Like,
it's true though. It just makes sense. Most of it's up here, and here is tough to represent because it's like it's supposed to be going
right. And he doesn't. People on the treadmill, you're running straight up and down, and he's he's bent over and hauling ass. So.
You brought a physicality to it, even though earlier we're like, I'm not big and brawny and stuff, but like you have a runner's body. It makes more sense to me.
I have more of a runner's body than any other kind of athlete, that's for sure.
Maybe a ball boy.
Soccer player, I could be a bat boy for.
Let's see, what do you think, hands down, and I'm not looking for my episode, what's your favorite episode you think you've done so far?
The moment that always comes to my mind first is season 1 finale.
Yes. Hands down.
And now as I said that, actually, I just thought of your reaction video to the season 1 finale.
It's honestly one of the greatest things a human being has ever made in the history of mankind. Like, it's not just a great hour of TV. It is so well constructed. And Tom is so villainous while still being human at the same time.
I don't care what we do for the rest of Flash. I mean, honestly, that episode is like the thing that I'll always just look back on and be so proud of. Yeah.
You guys facing each other in the pipeline where he's just like, now run, Barry, run. Yeah. Oh, it was so damn great. And when you just take the run for the first time and remember, he's like, you're seeing your past, your present, your future. And they showed like the Flash Museum, and they showed you in jail.
Yeah. For me, though, it's just when he sees his mom. Just seeing her, knowing that's where he's going, but making that choice, but then being in the moment. Yeah, I mean, that was just...
Oh, my God, it's good stuff. I could sit here and ask about or talk about now, because now I'll just evolve into like, remember this moment? Wasn't that awesome? But we should open it up to real fans and folks that I get to talk to Grant all the time. As you can see, they run to the mics just like their hero.
So, Grant, you were recently engaged. Congrats, by the way.
Thank you.
What's sort of the difference, or what do you feel is different about like engagement in the show versus like engagement in real life? Obviously, not everyone's perfect like Barry and Iris. So
that's true. Well, I enjoy my real relationship much more. Nothing against Candace. Love her greatly. It's obviously very different. One is scripted for me and fictional. One plays itself out, and I love her very much in real life. So I think those are probably the biggest differences.
Would it be nice in real life to have scripted moments for you?
Sometimes, God, yeah.
Where somebody's like, here, say this shit
Yes,
quick.
Please. Yes, exactly, yeah. Oh, yes.
What is your most embarrassing scene?
Okay, so, well, first of all, most embarrassing scene that I think has been on the show, it's not that embarrassing, but I was embarrassed to shoot it because I have chicken legs. But when I slid out for the risky business moment in my underwear with the spatula, and we were doing the, you know what I'm talking about? I was like, I'm in my what, you say? So that was a little tough. But in the finale, when Wally comes back, and we weren't expecting him, and he's there for the new baby's arrival, and champagne's coming out, and they're passing out the trays, and I take the tray, and I'm handing it out to everyone, and not one take, but 2 takes. I dropped like 6 champagne glasses. So that was embarrassing for me, even though it won't be on the show.
A bunch of people like fastest man alive, indeed.
Yeah, it was pretty, yeah. The first time it was kind of like, oh, I'm so sorry. And then the second time it was like, dude, like, can you like not drop the champagne? Like,
I know we're in Canada and we're polite, but stop fucking up. But have you met people in life who's like, let's race?
Let's race, yeah. A couple times, yeah.
What do you say to them? Like, I don't run that fast.
The only times I've been asked by strangers was like one time, literally at a Q&A, someone was like, can we race? I'm like, what, like, we're supposed to do that. That was the only other time like a stranger's asked, but friends have asked, like 3 friends have asked, one of them twice, and I'm 4-0.
Do you feel, like, be honest, do you feel you're fast in real life?
As a kid, yeah, I always thought, yeah, I was really fast as a kid, compared to other kids. But then I don't, I don't like running.
Don't fucking say that out loud, man.
So I'm not like, it's not like I didn't like do track or like, I wasn't really in sports. I was doing musical theater. So, yeah, I guess we could find out, I guess. But I don't know. I don't test.
Knowing that you don't like running just tells me you should have won an Emmy for every season of that show. They should give you an award.
I think that the villain is honestly more fun. I mean, not to say like I don't have fun playing the Flash. I actually like being Barry Allen more than the Flash, like in scenes, to be honest. But yeah, I want to definitely play some good villains in my career. Yeah, I mean, Savitar was a lot of fun. Yeah, I don't know. Probably the villains are a little more fun, a little more interesting.
I agree.
Yeah.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Before we get out of here, I just want to show them I never finished the story. The Zoop, how the Zoop is accomplished.
Yeah.
That's what I was most looking forward to seeing. Hey, bye.
See ya.
Most looking forward to seeing when I was there, and couldn't wait to see how it was done. How it's done is thusly. Bob, the AD, was like, how do you want to set up your shot? And I was like, well, Joe and Iris and Cisco are in the foreground with their backs to the camera, empty midground in the background. Flash will zoop into the breach room. And he goes, okay, there's going to be about 10 seconds, 2 calls for action camera, then wait 10 seconds, and then there's going to be an action Grant. And I said, okay, what's that for? And he goes, we need the 10 seconds for a green screen. Like, it's not green screen, plate shot.
Yeah.
Essentially, they could digitize him in after they're all done. So, they get him in position. They're like, here we go, action. And everyone just freezes in front of the camera and stuff. And we just roll for a few seconds. And then all of a sudden, they're like, okay, bring in Grant. And Grant will come into the doorway just like this. Hits his mark. And then they'll be like, okay, action Grant.
That's it.
I laughed so hard I blew the tape, man. Like, because I was like, oh my God, do you guys realize the way you make the Flash, the way I used to play the Flash on the playground and stuff? And then they blow that air cannon at the same time. It's fantastic. But the zoop in is actually, like, it's kind of silly to watch, but at least it starts the scene. So, like, he'll zoop in, and you're like, well, that was weird. But then you start talking, and the dialogue is intense, and so you forget about it. But it's when you zoop out of the scene,
they zoop out.
which is really weird because, like, it's building to attention, and then they're like, God, Barry, you got to go save them all. And he's like, I'm on it. And then he just walks out like Charlie Brown. Ladies and gentlemen, give it up for Grant Gustin. Thank you for being here, man. We're going to take a quick picture and send you guys on your way. Thanks for being here. Give it up for Grant.